The Stardust Crusaders may be the best 48 episodes of anime I've watched in a long time. I started JoJo's Bizarre Adventure not too long ago, and I've been loving every second I'm with the Joestar family and friends. But this little group of 6 amigos was fun to follow, and every character you grew a connection with. This video does have spoilers for part 1 to the end of part 3. Jotaro Kujo starts off disrespecting his mom in a prison cell, then tries to shoot himself. Pretty wild start, but the goat Joseph pulls up explaining stands, which is a physical manifestation of his fighting spirit, or just anyone's fighting spirit, and that Jotaro isn't crazy. We meet Abdal and Magician's Red. They tell us that Joseph's daughter Holly is being cursed by the one and only Dio. He's back and finessed his way onto Jonathan's dead body when the boat sank. But having his body gives Dio a connection to every descendant of the Joestar bloodline. And Dio getting his stand gave everyone else theirs. Now they have to defeat him within 50 days. Oh, and Joseph's stand is called Hermit Purple. And it's kind of pity at first, but he locks in with it later. He chops up a camera to see the star birthmark on Dio, which starts it all. The journey starts and a slimy green alien shows up to start diving into people's mouths. It's the stand for Noriaki Kakyoin. And after they beat him, they find out Dio is implanting little blood seeds on stand users to convince them to work for him. We see this with Jean-Pierre Polnareff, and both decide to join the group. Out of the group, Silver Chariot is my favorite stand. He doesn't have any crazy abilities, but his precision and speed with his rapier makes him a menace. The Crusaders start fighting a stand user every 2 episodes, which was a good pace in my opinion. You got that build up, the cliffhanger on the first episode. On the second you get the reverse Uno, and Star Platinum uses Jet Gatling on the user. We do meet some cool stand users like the Hangman, Death 13, Justice, the Oingo Boingo one, and both the Darby brothers had interesting soul stealing stands. Then we had some weird ones like the Empress, Wheel of Fortune. That one was cool, but the user was built funny. Oh, and we had the Sun at one point. Many of the stands gave different members of our group moments to show off their abilities. There was an ongoing gag of Polnareff and getting harassed in bathrooms or anytime he went off alone for 1 second. Bro was never safe. Abdal dies by a cap in his head from a horse, for a little at least. Then right before Egypt, they visit his father to drop the news. But it was Abdal putting on an act, being extra as fuck. Because the bullet only grazed his head, which made him a little goofy and whimsical. I did see a picture of the manga, and he did not live. He did not live. The reveal while Polnareff was having a real-life night terror was awesome, though. He came to save him from his evil sister clone, so it was nice having him back on for the rest of the trip. Once they arrive in Egypt, they call in reinforcement. Just one. The biggest hype up for a new group member. Someone even Abdal could not beat. You start wondering who this goat might be. Iggy comes out teabagging, farting, and chopping off hair. But they bring out the coffee flavored gum and he chills out. His stand makes him super overpowered since he can't be attacked. It just turns back into sand. Polnareff said it best. He is so defiant because he's too prideful to listen to anybody. He isn't fucking with the group at first, understandably, because he was taken here against his will, but eventually wanting to help the group out, who he sees as friends. Him and Polnareff hated each other, but were besties till the end. I want to know the meaning behind his 2 different faces though. That first one, there's nothing going on behind those eyes. After a rough 50 days, they arrive at Dio's mansion. Abdal is taken out by Cream, the Void Stand. So he dies again, and this time I didn't believe he was gone till they showed his damn cloud going up to heaven. Iggy's sacrifice for Polnareff was so sad and beautiful at the same time. I loved Iggy all the way through. R.I.P. Polnareff figures out Vanilla Ice is a vampire, and in honor of his brothers, he burns him down. But now face to face with Dio, they yap, and he plays mind games with him to tease his stand the world. A little after the fight begins outside. Kakyoin goes hero mode and gets one shot, but he figures out the stand's powers in his last moments and shoots the clock tower to tip off Dio can stop time, and lets Joseph know right before Joseph gets taken out by Dio and turned into the shriveled up chocolate lady. Jotaro versus Dio starts, and Dio's cocky. He keeps freezing time to test Jotaro, and it ends up being the reason he gets killed. Each time he freezes, it allows Jotaro to push his limits a little bit and test this freezing time ability for himself. And eventually he does, which was a cool nod to how Dio's stand is really Joseph's stand, so Jotaro having a similar ability because of his blood makes sense. It's unlucky Joseph got a purple rose vines through genetics though. Jotaro ends up beating Prime Dio and he explodes, I wasn't a fan of how it concluded. Maybe I missed something, but why is this immortal dude being broken to pieces by some punches? I did get super hyped when they changed the intro, and it froze once we knew the world's power. It was a really nice touch and it got you excited. Other than the fight conclusion, I loved how part 3 ended, and it was so much fun to watch. I wasn't expecting to do a JoJo video, but after finishing this part, I got super excited to talk about it.